YouTube, it's Maddie the Empty Nest Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. If it's your first time, I hope you enjoy the content and consider subscribing or commenting or giving a thumbs up at the end of the video. And if you're returning, I am super glad you came back, and I appreciate your support now and always. So today I'm bringing you a list of supplies that I would not purchase again if I was shopping today. And I had seen a video like this a couple of years ago. I thought it was super helpful, and so I'm bringing it back. I did one a couple of years ago. I may have some of the same items listed, and that's because they're still in my craft room. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But I'll give you a top 10 what I would not purchase again, and I hope you find the information useful. So first one is my gelatos, and I do have, it's just in a random box. This is not what the box they came in. So I just have a selection that I picked up in a few sets. If you're not familiar with the gelato, they are made by Faber-Castell. They're, hope you can see, and they are a water-soluble crayon. So if you're not familiar with a water-soluble crayon, what you do is you take preferably watercolor paper, but I'm just going to grab a little scrap, and it opens up like a lipstick, and you twirl it out just like a lipstick, and the pigment comes out, and you can scribble it on your paper. You could also scribble it on an acrylic block if you wanted to watercolor paint with it. And then you could either take a paintbrush and some water, or as I'm going to do here, if I have a little water in here, a water brush, and you can make that liquefy. If any water is in here, it looks like there is, you can make that liquefy and paint around with it. And it works fine, it's okay. However, I do have other items in my craft room that I feel work better. One of the problems I have with it is this lipstick shape. If you want to place your pigment very carefully in a specific spot inside of a stamped image, I find it awkward to use. And there are other items in my craft room that I prefer. So gelatos, if I had a chance to go back in time, those would not be the ones I would choose. Would not buy them again. Going on the same thing, because I have a thing about these water-soluble crayons. I have a few sets of these scribble sticks. I already had the gelatos, but I wanted to try the scribble sticks. Put out by Ranger. They're Dina Wakley's, and same kind of idea, but this one didn't have the problem that I was having with the gelatos. They were not lipstick shaped. First of all, there's no plastic outer casing, so I thought that would be better. And they come to a point, so you could precisely place this pigment wherever you would like. However, you can place it wherever you would like. It goes down a little bit dry, but that's okay. However, when I brought them with me, and I thought they came in this little handy little pack, and I could bring them with me on crops really nicely, but I had trouble getting them to liquefy. So on this paper, they seem to be doing pretty well, but for some reason, whenever I would bring them and try to use them on a project, they would not work on whatever paper I had chosen to stamp on. And I generally use Bristol or Accent Opaque. On this cardstock, they seem to have liquefied pretty well. Somehow, I always seem to see the original marking. I don't know if you could see that. It's pretty light, but it's still there. Not on the gelatos, but still there on the scribble sticks. So for that reason, since I do have other water-soluble crayons that I like better, I would not purchase those again. So that was Gelatos number 1, Scribble Sticks number 2. Next item that I definitely would not purchase again is this Tim Holtz stamp tool. Now, I know you can't buy them here in the United States anymore, except actually on eBay. You're able to do it. But this is what it looks like. I have the mini one. I did get the case for it as well. I had some high hopes when it first came out, and I wanted to try it. So this is not what it looks like, because this is a piece of sticky grid, which I used with it. Actually going to use that on a different tool, so I'm going to put that aside. So the idea is that you put your paper in here. You have some Tim Holtz magnets. I didn't use the magnets. I used to use the sticky grid. And you have your paper in here. You would put a stamp up on the door. And depending on if it were clear or rubber, you'd use one side or the other. And stamp your image, and then you would be able to stamp again if it didn't come out clear. So the reason I would not purchase this again, and I did try to make it work, I cut out some fun foam to try to make it work. I used some other foam to try to make it work, but no matter what I did, I could not get a consistent clear image from this stamp positioner. There seems to be dead spots or spots that wouldn't stamp clearly, no matter how hard I tried. I do have other stamp positioners in my craft room, and they all, every single one of them, they all stamp better than Tim Holtz stamp positioner that I own. So I definitely would not purchase this one again. It is, as I said, still on Amazon. So if it was something you were going to consider, because there are very, very few alternatives to the Misty, and if you did not want to invest in the Misty because it's so pricey, I still say stay away from Tim Holtz. I do have another video on stamp positioners, alternatives to the Misty. Take a look. There is one there that is very good and still available on Amazon. So that was number 3, the Tim Holtz stamp positioner. Sorry to pick on Tim Holtz, but this enormous paper trimmer by Tim Holtz. It's a guillotine trimmer. It is large enough for a 12 by 12 paper. You can see it's pretty large. You can take out this arm that stores in the back and the handle that stores in the back. Place the handle on the one side, and you can use this piece to create, there's a little door in here or something to create a longer arm. You see where I'm going? It's fiddly. It's annoying. It bothers me. I never reach for it. I don't want to bother doing all of this. Nope, not for me. Now, I do want to say, I do not want to pick on Tim Holtz because my favorite trimmer is one of his trimmers. Just not this one. This one has too many moving parts. It's too annoying. It's bulky. I don't care for it at all. I have a Fiskars slide trimmer that I go to every single time for 12 by 12. This one, if I had to trim something that was thicker and couldn't be used with a slide trimmer, I would go to it, I imagine, but I haven't really been using it at all because it is just too fiddly. If that doesn't bother you, by all means, give it a try. I am sure it probably cuts well. You know, that's of course the main thing. But I just have not been able to warm up to that one. So Tim Holtz trimmer, number 4, would not buy it again. Okay, next up, my Illustrator markers. So these are alcohol markers. Most people in the crafting world buy Copics. They are the best, I am told, I never tried them. They are the best alcohol markers on the market. I bought this specifically because it has a brush tip and a fine tip. And I'll show it to you. This is the brush tip. There. And this is the fine tip. And I purchased them because they were much less expensive than the Copics, but they had a brush tip and they were refillable. And those were the things that I was looking for. And they had a brush tip and a fine tip, which was very hard to find at the time these came out. And this was the first iteration. So after a very short time of collecting them, the tips began to fray and they were unusable. And I started to buy replacement nibs. I bought them from Blick. The Blick nibs were the Japanese expensive nibs that really do work well. However, I had already purchased a bunch of markers, and I was very upset to have to replace all the nibs after a very short time. And then Illustrator came out with the same marker with a better nib. So I contacted the company, and they said, feel free to buy replacement nibs. And I was fuming. Yeah, you're not getting any more of my money. So even if the new Illustrator markers have a better nib with this combination, and now there are more companies with this combination, at the time, this was the only one I knew about. But the way they didn't stand behind their product and decided it was a good idea for me to just give them more money was infuriating. And I just left me a very, very upset crafter. So the Illustrator markers I would not recommend. I do have a nice selection of alcohol markers from a very inexpensive company that also has a brush and a fine nib. I'll go grab one because I forgot the name. And they're Ohuhu, and they're very popular with crafters who were looking for a budget. Now there are a billion budget marker companies, but I was looking for a brush and a fine nib. So these markers gave me that at a very, very reasonable price. And the nibs flip around if you find that they start to fray, but I've been using them a ton longer, and even though they are not the expensive Japanese nibs, they have not begun to fray. I haven't flipped one yet. So even if I have to buy a new nib years down the road, I'm fine with that. Super fine with that. Next item was this rabbit hole powder tool for embossing. So there was a short period of time that every crafter was using this particular tool. And I'll open it up and show it to you. It's nice and fluffy. And you can retract the brush when you want to put it away. You should be able to put down some powder at the right amount, and when you want to put your embossing ink on top and then the powder, it should not stick to where this powder is. Now, this is not an expensive item. The reason I am mad at myself for getting it is because I already had an item that worked fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I used this little pad. Many of you may have this. It's one of the favorites in my craft room because it works like a charm and you never have to replace it, or if you do, I haven't yet, and I've had it for years. So it's a powder tool. Has the same purpose. The only difference is this one works. This one sometimes comes out, sometimes doesn't, sometimes a ton comes out. It's adorable, but I hate it and I would not recommend it, and I certainly wouldn't buy it again, no matter who is using it. So, powder tool, number 6, wouldn't buy it again. Maybe I got it dud, I don't know, but wouldn't buy it again. I don't even need it. I shouldn't have bought it the first time. Next up is this adorable Texture Boutique. If anyone is familiar with this, it's made by Sizzix, and it does embossing only. It does embossing only. So it's adorable. It's got a little hang tag, like a purse. It looks like a purse, and it embosses fine. However, that's all it does. Does not die cut. I didn't have a die cut machine at the time. It was very inexpensive. I believe I got it on eBay for like $20. And it was my first venture. Of course, now I have a Gemini Junior, and I use it all the time. I know it's the same company as the Illustrator, but I didn't know this was going to happen to me when I got this. So, be this as it may, I do not get my plates from them anymore because those also are junk. I buy the Sizzix plates, and they serve me very, very well. So it seems to me that the Crafter's Companion plates are made to be replaced so they can make money. And, not happy about that. So I love this machine. I don't know if I had to buy it again, if I would. It's not on my list of what I wouldn't buy again. But I I haven't had any experience with any other machines. I just know that the plates are awful, and I believe that's done on purpose. I don't think that the engineers are that dumb. Okay, moving on. Sorry about the rant. Nuvo drops. So, isn't that adorable? Nuvo drops. It's in this adorable little case. You're supposed to put it down and make your own little enamel dots. It seems cost effective, and it's got the cutest little container. I never use them. Never ever use them. I can't seem to get them to make cute little circles. I don't have the nerve to put them directly on my projects. I started buying the pops of color. They work better for me. So Nuvo drops. Wouldn't buy them again. Oh, finger daubers. Anybody see YouTubers using this? So my number 9 is finger daubers. I saw people using these things. So they are teeny tiny little brushes. Look how cute. Look how cute they store. And they've got, they're in rainbow colors. I mean, what's not to love? And you're supposed to use your ink and blend in small spaces. Sounds perfect. I couldn't get this thing to stay on my finger. I couldn't figure out how to hold it on. I tried. It didn't work for me. Let me know in the comments if you use these and how you get them. I can't even get this back in. I can't even get it back in without messing up the bristles. So let me know if you use this. There were crafters that just loved it. I'm not one of them. So give me some advice on that one in the comments if you've got it and if they work for you. Last but not least, number 10. This is the Sizzix brush for cleaning out your dies. I know people use this. They have a die that has little pieces stuck in, and it does work. But I never pull it out. I just grab a pokey tool and bing, 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 take it out. Let me know if you use this on the regular and if you would buy it again. To me, I feel like it takes up too much room for what it is, and I never remember to pull it out. So this one is no fault of the company, but I wouldn't buy it again. So that's my list of 10 items that I would not purchase again if I had the chance. And I hope you found that information helpful, useful, and worth listening to. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Recently, I did a top 20, the craft supplies that I love. I will link it in the description if you are interested. I hope you stop by again. So have a great day, and everybody, bye-bye YouTube, and everybody stay safe.